while, but I'm back with another book review, this time on Baby City by Frida McFadden and Kelly Stoddard. Basically, the name isn't that telling ultimately, but basically it's kind of a weird concept. So it would fall technically under the category of realistic fiction, even though it's kind of like realistic fiction slash memoir, even though technically they change just enough details to where it doesn't technically count as a memoir, but these are true stories, even if they changed just little bits and pieces of the details around so that you can preserve the identities of the people involved and their situations of what happened. But apparently these are all things that happened every day, pretty much in any maternity ward across the country, or I imagine across the world ultimately. But basically, the story is told in a first-person account of a resident in, I believe it's called Cadence Hospital, which may or may not be a real hospital name, but I believe it's also in New York City, which would be implied by the cover as... Yeah, so, anyway, yeah, so it's told in that first-person account, and basically tells what it's like to work that job, day in, day out, all the crazy hours involved, all the difficulties that come with the job, having to deal with the medical students and have to train them even when they're absolutely infuriatingly stupid, and just, you know, all the dramas that go along with the job, with the patients, with the other staff. There's a lot to it, and not all of it always has happy endings. There is actually several baby deaths in this book. It follows through quite a few different birth stories in here. Obviously, names and details change to protect the innocent, but ultimately these are all things that really do happen, so it's not like it's a total fictional work here, but yeah, just saying, it is ultimately true without being memoir material. They added in bits and pieces to sort of flesh out the main character in terms of, like, her life story outside of the hospital walls and all, but apart from that, yeah, it's all very much real stuff that goes down. It's actually really interesting. For me personally, there was nothing that was like new info here that I didn't already know, but it's still kind of interesting to hear it written by somebody who actually does work in that field. I've read quite a few books over the years by different people in the nursing field or who are doctors or anything in there of all different sorts, because years and years ago I thought I was going to go into that field, but just for how much schooling is involved, it never happened. But yeah, so I kind of live vicariously through reading stuff like this, because it's almost like, in a roundabout kind of way, getting to live that kind of a dream without actually having the accolades of doing so, but no, I found it really interesting, and for as dramatic as it is at points, there's also a lot of comedy throughout the book too, which I thought was a nice balance, because a lot of these either take it way too seriously, or they try to make everything a joke, and there's no balance between the two. This one actually does find a balance, which is nice, because like I said, I don't see that too often in this particular genre of writing, so that was kind of cool. I did take issue with how many typos are throughout. I feel like this was one of those self-published books, so I can't really hold it against them too hard, because I don't think they had access to a proper editor. That is okay. Probably would have done good to proofread it before sending it in, but that aside, it's definitely still readable. And it's not written in, like, really, like, high-up medical terms to where a layperson can't understand it. This is written in a way to where literally anybody could understand what's going on here, which is also cool. Even though they throw in terminology, they also explain what that terminology means, which, like I said, I personally understand because I've read so much of it, but for other people, they explain it, and I think that's cool that they do that. But, yeah, ultimately, I think it's really interesting. I think a lot of people that have any sort of interest in the medical field at all, not necessarily in OBGYN specifically, probably would find it an interesting read. I personally rated it 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I don't give it a 5 is just how many typos there are throughout it. I have a really hard time giving a 5-star review to it with that in mind, But that aside, I think it's really good. It's a quick read. I pretty much barreled through this one really fast. I just kind of slacked off on getting this review up. But it's enjoyable. I recommend it. There you go. So anyway, as usual, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Leave comments down below. Until next time.